Hi everyone, Phil, Project Manager at Nummax, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to use Nummax Manager AIO, which is the cloud version of our software. Maybe you heard about Nummax Manager local software, which is free software that is provided with most of our Nummax displays. So this version is the cloud version hosted on our servers in Quebec City in Canada. And it's a version which with much more features than the local version. And I'm going to teach you all the way how to use this software. So you can do three things with this software. You can obviously publish content into your terminal. Then you can control it. So you can change the brightness, switch it on, switch it off, and so on. And the third thing is if you manage some customers, or maybe you have several offices or branches, you can create accounts, manage groups of displays, and you can manage all that. Okay, so if you don't have already your credentials to access the software, just contact our tech support at Nummax, and we will provide you the link to access the software and your credentials to access your account. So let's dive into it, and I'm going to switch to my display. So here we go. So this is the main page of the software. When you access, you have all your displays appearing just on the home page. So you have on the left the main menu where you can access all the features. You've got here I'm connected to my Nummax training account, so I've got all the groups of display we use for trainings, which will be much lighter for you. If you only have one display, you would have only one group, one folder here. If you have all kind of branches, this is going to appear here. Then you've got your displays appearing, and you've got some info about your display. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to publish content in your display. So I'm going to show you real quickly how to publish a very basic slideshow, and then I'll go back and show you much more details about the schedule, the features you can put in playlist, and so on. One important thing is to publish content. It has to be done in 3 steps. First, you must upload in your library, your media library here. You must upload images and videos. Then you have to create a playlist where you're going to put all the content you want to see in your display. And once this playlist is done, you have to program it in the schedule and apply it to your display. So the display will be starting showing what you have programmed into it. So here we go. Let's go in media. In the media library, you just have to go in upload, and then you can access your files and whatever you want to put in your display. And when I say whatever, I mean images and videos. And these are the only files you can upload in a display. No PDFs, no Excel file, no no Word documents, no PowerPoints, none of those will work. Only images and videos. And then the standards you can use, it can be JPEG, PNG, BMP, even animated GIF, like I've got one here about discounts. And videos, also all kind of format of videos you can upload. Even .mov from Mac works in Nummax Manager. So once everything is in your library, you can manage this hosting of images and medias. You can manage it with folders, just like on your hard drive on the computer. So this is a library. This is not playing right now in the display. It's just to store your content. But one thing important you will find everywhere in the software is this little icon, eye icon for info you've got on the top right. When you select it, it will open an area here where you can access some additional info. So if you select an image, it will give you some info about the image. It could be a terminal when you are selecting a terminal, or even a playlist. So all these info are interesting. So you get, for example, for the images, you would get a preview. For the video, you could play the video. And you get some, you get the size of the image you will use. Just for info, Nummax Manager is able to make any dimension, image dimension or video dimension, fit the size of your display. But so even if you publish a 4K image or HD video, it will work even in a small pixel size Nummax display. But we do not recommend you to do that because you're going to create very large files, long to upload, long to download, take a lot of space on the server. And it's no use having HD images. You know, if you've got 160 pixel display, no need to have a 1000 pixel image. So we recommend you to be very close from the real dimension of your display. So once you've got all your images in the library here, you just have to click on Create. So this way you can create a playlist. So first of all, you gotta give a name. So let's do it. My playlist, kind of original name. And here you've seen my display at the beginning. There are two small square displays I'm working on. So they are 160 pixel by 160 pixels. So make sure the dimension of your display, the pixel dimension of your display, is correct here. So you will be working in this area to create some content in the display that will be exactly the size of your display. So once I've done that, I've got here my library appearing in the column. So I select all the media I want to add, and I just drag and drop them in this area. So the system will automatically do several things. First of all, it's going to make the images fit the full screen of my display. If it doesn't, you know, it might appear like this in the small box, because all the features we're gonna see are going to appear in small boxes like this. I can move it around if I want to. I can move it, place it at an exact position in my display with an exact size of pixel if I want to. But if you want it full screen, just one icon here, click on it, and it's full screen. And the system is going to, with images, it's going to create an automatic playlist when you drag and drop like I did. So you can change the view here from list to thumbnails. And here, by default, the system is going to give me a duration. This duration can be changed, just like in a slideshow. And even you can add some transition, like in PowerPoint, you know. So I'm not going to put any right now, but you could put some. And what's interesting is that you can mix image, animations, and videos in the slideshow right here. So, and you can move them around. You just drag and drop like this your tabs, and this is going to change the order of my images. Once I've done that, I'm just going to save it. Very basic slideshow. And then the system is going to switch directly to my playlist library. So here I can see my playlist I've just created. So once you've done that, we've got to schedule it into the display. So to program it so it will be playing at the time I want. So let's click on schedule. So once this is done, you've got the calendar, which is what is programmed here in my group of display. This is the calendar where there's something playing right now in my display. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to remove the previous playlist, so which is in the memory. I select it, click on delete, and I apply. So this apply button on the top right, this is the magic button. Okay. this is critical. This is the button you click when you want to take everything you've done, your program, and drop it in the display. So until you do that, the things you do are just in the software. Once you click on apply, it's going to upload the schedule, the media, the playlist, everything in the memory of the display, and will be starting playing and broadcasting within a few seconds. So here for my example, I've created a playlist. So I take my playlist, I drag and drop in my schedule, and I confirm. Okay. And once it is confirmed, I can click apply. And now everything's going to be uploaded in the memory of my display. And that's the way to publish content in your display. So now I'm going to show you some additional things about all this and go deeper in the features. So first of all, you've seen that I just drag and drop and confirm my playlist and then apply it to the display. So for the system, if you don't give any additional programming info or whatever, the system is going to understand that you want to play the playlist 7 days, 24 hours, 7 days, all day long, all the time. Never stop playing this playlist. So it could be very useful, and you can do it with any playlist. So if you put 10 playlists like this all day long, it will be playing one list after the other and so on. So, but you can do some additional programming. If you click on the playlist, when you drag and drop it, you could set a specific time for playing the playlist, a specific day or period of time, and even a specific day of the week. So you can do very precise programming for a playlist. And you can do it also many times with the same playlist. So let me just switch off all this programming, confirm. And if I take the same playlist, I can do an additional programming with this playlist. So I could say I only want this playlist on Mondays. Okay, so if I do that, well, that doesn't make sense to have both of them, but here I've got removed it. So this one is only played on Mondays. If I take the month's view of my calendar, it will be playing every Mondays only. Okay, and you can do a lot of programming with that the same way. So here you can select the period of time you want in the calendar, so daily, weekly, monthly. Let me go back on weekly, and you can change the view of the calendar, which is either a calendar or a list. This view could be very useful if you've got a lot of playlists running, programming, and so on. You might want to work with list instead of the calendar. So that's pretty much the way the calendar works. Now, something very interesting is that you can program content like we just seen right here, but you can program commands. What is commands? Commands are controlling the display. So you can program switch on the display, switch off the display. You can program a brightness change. You can program a reboot once a week if you want to. You can do all this. So how we do that? Well, very easy. Just do one thing. You click on the top. There is a command button here. So you select the command button. Then you click on plus. Here we go. And when you click on plus, the system is going to propose you all kind of actions. So let me, you see, you can wake up the display, you can reboot, and I'm going to keep a brightness control. So once I've selected brightness control, I have to select a time. So let's change the brightness depending on the sun. So let's say that in the morning at 6 a.m. Okay. I want to increase the brightness up to 90%. Here we go, confirm. So now you can see that I've got the brightness at 90% in the morning. And let me do it another way. In the evening, so I want at 5 p.m. Let's go 5 p.m. I click in the schedule, in the calendar, and it's another way to do things. And I'm going to select command here. And here I keep brightness control. So it's 5 p.m., which is, here it's the European way to show time, but works the same. And I'm going to drop it at 5 p.m. and I'm going to drop it at 20%. Actually, Nummax recommend you to drop the brightness of your display in the evening, because at night it's no use having a 90% brightness or 100% brightness for your screen. It's even too much. So you can drop it at 20%. It's enough. And you must remember also that the brightness of your display is directly related to the power consumption. So dropping the brightness, you're going to drop your consumption, which is a good thing. So I confirm, and in the evening, my brightness is going to drop at 20%. So you can see that we've got a reboot here at Nummax recorded in the schedule every day, which is not useful to do that. You can do once a week, but here we've got for testing reasons, we are working with a daily reboot, but you can program a reboot too. And never forget to click on apply. This button is very important. Until you click on it, it's all in the software only. If you click on it, it's uploaded in the memory of your display. One interesting thing about that is whatever is saved in the memory, you don't need to be connected to the internet all the time. So if your display is not connected to the internet anymore, it will still be working and playing what you have programmed into it. So you only need to be connected to the display by the internet when you are creating updates. So that's the way the schedule works. Now that I have applied it to the display, just for checking, I can go in terminal and just select one of the displays, and I'm going just to check here we go, we are playing the pizza, and let me try it in the other one, because both are recorded in this folder, my complete screen, so they are receiving the same programming. And here I've got my little GIF animation, so that's very interesting. I'm going to talk about the terminal access, the features after the content, but you will see that we can do a few things with the display. So let me come back here, and we've done with the schedule. Now I'm going to come back into my playlist, and we're going to see all the feature that we can apply to a playlist. So back in my playlist library, you just have to double click on it. So here you can see, like I told you previously, you can access the playlist, and you've got a few info where it is programmed, which group it is programmed, and you could see also the media that are used inside the playlist. That could be very useful. And the activity is also about the programming, what display is playing my playlist right now. So very useful. So let me double click on my playlist, and I'm back into my playlist. Very important. Previously, you've seen that I had the saved button, and that became apply. When it is saved, it's in the software. When you see apply, it's because the playlist is directly connected to my display. So whatever I change in my playlist right now, if I apply, it will not be just saved in the software. It will also be applied directly in the display. This is when you have a playlist already published in your display. So be very careful when you do that. Don't do some experiment, in your playlist, and leave some work not done yet and apply it. It will be playing in your display. So here I've got my first playlist, and I like this slideshow, but I can add some additional elements on it. So Here you've got the icons of all the elements you can add in your content. And the first one was the files. Files, when you click on it, it adds, each time you click on an icon, it adds a tab here where you've got an area you can work into. And here is the place where I can drop either just one image, okay, it will be in a box like we've seen previously. Let me change the image on the background so we can see that I'm working in 2 boxes. So I've dropped only one image. You could be the logo of your company or whatever. You can change the size, position it, or it could be another slideshow. You could have, you know, maybe 3 or 4 slideshows playing in the same screen, same sequence. So all this display is just what we call the sequence. So you can put all kind of things into it. And each time you've got a new tab here with a new element, obviously you can even duplicate it, or you can delete it. So I'm going to remove my second image and keep my slideshow. And on my slideshow, I want to add some text. So it's the second icon, the single line text. So here you can put some title. And anytime you will have some text writing or whatever, you can, you know, work on the font. You can change its color. So let me put it white, for example. You just move your cursor in the area, and then when you select it, you can even click on a color right here, and you just confirm it, so it will change the color. Some additional features: you can put an outline, you can put a shadow. Let me put an outline, 2, 3 pixel outline. Let me put it black. Confirm. Let me put it thicker. Here we go. So you can put a few things like that. And on the bottom, you've got some major options here. Single page, you've got a very short text like here, title, it will be static. Auto page is, for example, if I've got titles and much more text on one line, if I put it this way, we're missing some text. So if I select auto page, and let's put it at 2 seconds, for example, the system will automatically change the text in the area to show all my sentence. Could be very useful. Now, if you want to, you can do another thing, is a scrolling title, where you can also manage the speed of the scroll. Okay. And here we go. And I want the text to be appearing during 10 seconds, for example. I'm going to tell you why I've put this after that. Then multi-line text. Same feature, but for paragraphs. So I can put the size I want for my paragraph, my box. I put it in my area. Here we go, by hand, but I could do it with numbers right here, 160 pixels. And same way, multi-line text, info 1, info 2, and 3 dots. So here my text doesn't fit, you know, my box. So the same way, you've got some features for the font and so on, but in the effects, you can have auto page. So the system will manage to put as much text as it can in the box and change, you know, my 3 dots and change page like it did for the single line text. And you can also have a scroll, which for the paragraph is upward, up and down, move up, excuse me, instead of scrolling horizontally. And same way, you can control the speed and the duration. It's going to be displayed on the screen. Let me put 20 seconds. So once you've created something like that, you can have a preview if you want to. So see, you can preview. This is much more for, you know, checking the duration of my slides, duration of the speed of my text and so on. If it fits, I can keep it this way. So Here we go. I'm gonna apply it to my display. Now, something new. Let's say that this composition, I want to reuse it for all my ads. And I don't want to have to reset the fonts, reset the speed, reset the slideshow, because I have prepared everything and I want to keep it as a template. So very easy. Let's change the name. I'm gonna call it my template. That's original, once again. And instead of apply, I'm going to drop down the menu and save it as a template. And here we go. If I leave the playlist creation, and if I go in my template library, I can see that I've got my template here. If I double click on it, I could change a few things into it. But how do we use that? Well, let's create a new playlist. Here I've got my new playlist, checking my display dimensions in pixel dimensions, and I just have to click on load template. And here I will access my template library, where you can see I've got already a bunch of templates I've did for trainings. And this is the last one, my template. I select it, and here we go. Inside this playlist, I can change, images. So maybe I want to remove my pizza and so on. So you select the image and you click on the trash. And let me take some other elements I've got already in my library. Here an animated GIF, and so this is it. I can put some other images. So I did change a few things. I could change the text, and I could save it again as a new playlist. Let me change the name, playlist, and I save it. And I click on my playlist tab, so I get in my library, and there I've got my new playlist playing. Not playing, but here in my library. So that's pretty much the way how to create templates. Now let's go back in my new playlist, and I'm going to show you all the features you've got here available to add content in your display. So what you can do is you can click on the plus button right here, and you would add sequences. Sequences, they are not slides. If I add several sequences, they are not slides. They are really some kind of what you want on the screen for a period of time. And inside this screen, you could have several slideshow playing at the same time. You could have animation. You could have the weather website. You could have hours, date, and RSS feed, all kind of things. And the duration of a sequence is depending on the longest element inside the sequence. So you've seen this when I've created the playlist, that I gave a duration to each title, and there is a duration in your slideshow. So for example, if my slideshow is 15 seconds, and my titles is 20 seconds, and my paragraph is 30 seconds, the whole sequence would be the longest time, the longest element time, so which will be 30 seconds from my paragraph. What will do the slideshow and my single line text title if they are shorter in time than the multi-line text? Well, it will restart. So there will never be a black screen on the background if your slideshow is shorter than the paragraph. It will restart and play on the background. So, but this will be the full time of my sequence. And once it is done, the playlist will switch to the next sequence in your programming, in your playlist, sorry. So let's see all the features we've got here in our display. So the third one is the clock. Same way, you can move the block around. Though, by the way, every block you've got here, every feature that creates a block here, you can add a border if you want. So you can select the pixels you want, the color you want. Let me remove to 0, put it back to 0. And also in every element you've got, when you go in the effect, I didn't told you this before, but you can do it to every block. You can change the background color. So same way, you select the color and you can change the background. So let's go back to my clock. And here for the clock, you can have a multi-line clock, your analog clock, but let's keep it this way. Fixed text is a text that you can put on the top of the clock, and you can change the font. And one interesting thing is that you can choose either if you want the date, or maybe you might want to have only the hour and minutes. So same way you can, control the font, and you can control the duration of the element inside your sequence. So let me put just the hour. Okay. Now we also got the weather, which is interesting, but very important. The system works with the network. So if your display is not always connected to the network, you wouldn't get the update in real time. But when you're connected, no problem. Each time it will display the weather, it will go and get the info live on the web. So multi-line view or single line view depends on what you want to show on the screen. If you want only, you want the prefix of the weather, which will be the name of the city, the temperature, the wind, the humidity. Here for my example, I'm going to keep it simple, only the temperature. And the same way, if I select a city, let me try Toronto in Canada. So the system is going to select a few locations, and let me select Toronto, Canada. And we can either put it in Celsius or Fahrenheit. So let's keep it Fahrenheit, and I'm going to put it here on the bottom right of my display. So same way, you can control the font. Okay. You can change the color of the font if you want to. Let's put it blue. Here we go. And same way, you can either, like the text you have, if you want different info, like the wind, the humidity, you can have each info one after the other. You could have a move left, which will be a scroll of it. You can control the speed. And you can also change the color of the background, and same way you can change the duration of your info. That's all about the weather. The other icon is the web we've got here. So the web lets you display a website on the screen. So I set my box right here. And here I just have to put the URL of my website. But very important, a website is made to be seen on the large screen. Your display, your screen on your desktop is, I guess, 1920 pixel by 1080 pixel. Which is a very large amount of pixels. Most of the websites are responsive, so they adapt to the cell phones, which is a smaller width of pixels. But your display, if I take the example I've got one here, the one I've got here is 160 pixels, which is very short. And most of the times in this size of pixel, 160, website isn't very clear, isn't very nice, to see. So you better do some test, because the system is not going to take a screen capture of full website and reduce it to the display. It's going to adapt it. So if you've got a large Nummax display, it could be interesting to use this feature. If you've got only a poster, you must do some test. But the purpose of this system is very interesting, because besides showing websites, we've got some customers that do have some web applications. So, for example, for auctions, for sports charts, for bingo, for all kind of data. We had a customer that had a system that could count some parking places. So Nummax Manager don't do that. The software doesn't count parking places. And our customer had a whole system with cameras and the software and everything. But the system was saving on the web the data and was showing it on an HTML page. So with this feature in Nummax Manager, we could go and get the URL with the info of remaining places and so on, and we could show it in a poster with a very low amount of pixels. So this feature is very interesting if you want to use external data and show it in your display. We also have, there is a little web package beside the URL. This is for local hosting. So you could take a HTML page with some JavaScript and so on, and you don't want the display to go on the web and read data live. You want the display to show this content and animation you've created in HTML and JavaScript. You could save it in the software, and it will be there playing in your display. But if you're looking for this kind of things, I'm not going to talk too much about it right here, how to do that. But the moment you will need that feature, just contact Nummax and we will show you and explain more deeper how to use this system. But every time you use the web feature, the same way you can control the duration, it's going to appear on your screen. Now let me change my sequence to the third one. Excuse me. You also have the possibility to publish some RSS feed. Same way it works with the URL of the RSS feed. So, for example, this is the Yahoo News. So it's like on the TV news. You would get the title that will be scrolling on the bottom of the display. So you can choose whatever you want to see. For example, I just select the title and the description. And if I keep it this way, with the speed of the scrolling and the duration, I show the RSS feed, it will be showing the news exactly like on TV inside your poster. So that could be interesting. And some cities have an RSS feed on their website, so they could show it here and could have each time they upload some new articles or whatever on their website, it will be automatically updated in the display also. So interesting features for cities. Then you've got the environment feature. So this one is not very interesting if you have a poster from Nummax. This feature is much more for outdoor displays equipped with sensors for pollution, humidity, temperature, and so on. And you can select whatever you want to show on the screen, just like the weather we've seen before. You can show some data coming from your display. So same way, you control the font, you control the duration of the element, and you can just manage all that in the screen. Let me just remove this one. So when you want to remove a tab, you just select delete. And one thing I forgot to tell you about, very important. Let me come back on my very first element. Here you've got a title on the front, paragraph on the front, and you've got the slideshow on the back. The order of the layers depend on the position of the tab. This is very important. So the way I move elements here, they are going to move from the front to the back. So here I've moved my slideshow on the right, and which means it comes on the front. So my text are on the back or on the background. If I want to put them back on the front, I just move the tabs on the right. So remember this little info. Now let me come back to my last features. I've got two last ones. One is the sync play. I will talk about it last. And before that, we'll see the countdown. This is a very interesting feature. If you've got some discounts moments, if you've got a grand opening coming, if you're a city or you're going to install a display for a city, you can have the roadworks duration or countdown announced on your display. So the way it works, very easy. You go on the countdown, you select a date. We're the 24th of January. Let me select 31. You can even select a specific time. And the system is going to use the internal clock of your display and do the countdown every day, every seconds, automatically. So I just select what I want to see. For example, here I'm just going to see the days remaining until the end of the month. Let me change the size of my text. And here we go, 6 days remaining until the end of the month. Same thing, duration, background color, you can change all that. And so the system is going to update this info automatically. No need to re-upload the playlist in the display. It's going to be automatic, working with the internal clock. Most of the time, the software is always in English, but the real language used in the display would be the one set in the display. So most of the time, displays are set in English, but if you want it in Spanish or French or whatever, even if it's in English here in your playlist programming, it will be playing in the correct language if your display is set in your language. So let me talk about the last feature, which is the sync play. It's a very specific feature. If I click on it, it's going to add a box just like the file box. So this box can only have some image and videos inside of it. I just drag and drop the same way. It could be a slideshow, could be a video, whatever I want. I can put it full screen. It works exactly the same of files. But what is the purpose of the sync play? Actually, it's meant to be published in different displays. And when there is a sync play of a content in different displays, the system, Nummax Manager, is going to manage to play these two slides in the exact same time in all the displays. So the same way, I'm not going to explain deeper how to use this with two displays or more. We'll have a video on how to sync the display, but you can also access the info in the Nummax documentation. But you must know that Nummax Manager can do that. You could have two displays side by side and have it as a bigger screen. So you would want to have your videos cut in the middle to be published in two different displays, but really playing synchronized. You would use this feature. You could have an marketing impact with different displays in different storefront windows. And you want, when it's playing the last ad, you want all the displays to show the image at the same time. You would use this feature again. Okay, so that's all you can do with a playlist. That's all you can create as a content. And now you know how to publish it in your schedule and publish it to broadcast it in your display. Let's see how to control your display. So the way to control your display, you have to go in Terminal. So controlling your display means like a remote control. So you can control it as the internal board. You can change the language, the time, you can change groups, you can do all kind of things. You can see the storage of the memory, you can change instantly the brightness, switch it on instantly, switch it off, all kind of things. So the way to access that, you have to click on the info icon on the top right, and when you click on it, you will access this area where you've got all the info. So you've seen previously when I select display, so I'm in my group, I select my display, and then I access all this info. The first thing I've got is a screen capture of what's playing right now in my display. So this is not a video, but it's interesting when you publish a new ad, you can come here a few seconds after and just do a refresh and see what's playing right now. Then you've got here, you can change the name of your display. The description. So most of the time Nummax would put some specific info in the description, so you don't really need to change that. Even the installation time. And you've got something interesting here is change group. So this is a critical info. Changing group, if you only have one display for your shop or your office, you don't really need all about this. But if you are managing some customers, you would create some folders for each of your customers. So the way to do that, you just have to click on the three dots next to the root folder. You select add a terminal group. Then it could be customer 1, customer 2, whatever you want. Or if you don't have several customers to manage, if you just have several displays in your own business, it could be a group for managing some storefront window posters, or it could be for your outdoor display. You could create groups, so you could have a specific programming for each kind of groups. So with your displays, let me go back and get my displays here. When you change group, it's here. You just select the change group and you select your group and you just confirm when you select a new group. Pretty easy. What's interesting is when we program something in the schedule, we always schedule to a group, not to a display, which means that a programming is related to a folder, and we recommend at Nummax to work this way. Why? Because if you remove a display or put a new display in this folder, the new display you would put in this folder will automatically download the programming set to this folder. So let's say that you have in two storefront windows, you've got two posters with a specific programming, and then you had a third poster that you put in another storefront window. You would put it in the group and you don't have any programming to do. The display will automatically download the schedule, the content, and start playing what has already been programmed. So that's pretty much the way to manage things. Now in your display, you can change the time zone, you can change language, like I said previously. Here mine are set in French. Now you understand why I don't speak English very well. So you can change all that. You've got a bunch of language, really a lot of languages you can access right here. Now you've got 6 instant buttons to control your display. So the first one, sleep, you switch off the display. When you switch off a display, like I do right now, it's gonna stop the display in the office, put it black screen, and once it is off, I can wake it up, I can switch it on, and it takes a few seconds, and the display will restart broadcasting. I can do a reboot, and I can do also a brightness control. So previously you've seen in the schedule I've programmed the brightness in the morning, the evening. But let's say that during the day 90% is not enough because today there is a lot of sun in my window, and so I need to increase the brightness. You can come here and just put it 100%, just click save. It will take a few seconds and your display will increase the brightness, and we'll keep it this way until the next programming in the schedule. So it will drop at 5 p.m. It will drop at 20% like it is programmed in the schedule. Then you've got the color temperature. If you think it's too red, too blue, the color of your display, usually it's factory setting. So we don't recommend you to touch that, but you could do it. Also, you've got the volume control if you've got a sound system. Actually, if you are using a poster, Nummax posters are not equipped with audio system. But if you have some other Nummax player, you could have your system connected to the board, to the player, and you could control it here. Next tab, you've got the network. Those are the info from your display connection. The playlist is the memory of your My Display. So here you can see that the training display, we've uploaded a lot of playlists for training. It's all stored in the memory. So that's why I said previously that it's better to create your images and videos to the exact size of your display, so you optimize the size of the file, and you optimize the use of the memory of your display. So even if all those playlists are not programmed anymore in the schedule, they are saved in the memory. So what you can do once in a while is clear the cache and delete all. If you delete all, that's not a big deal. You're just going to delete the memory of the display, but instantly when it is done, the display will re-download what it is programmed in the group, like I said, the schedule program in the group of display, and will restart broadcasting. So depending on how many images you've got and so on, it can take a few seconds to several minutes. But you can do it once in a while, or remove it by hand just by deleting all the playlist. So the way to delete a playlist, you click on it, it will access directly to the library here and will select my playlist, and I just have to select the playlist I want and click on the trash. It will remove the playlist from the library and remove it from your display. Anyway, let me go back into my display. Okay, then you've got the schedule. This is the schedule we've seen previously, so that's what in the memory of your display. Monitor is for alerts. So this is going to send you some emails if you set it. You just have to set the email list. So by default, when you receive a display from Nummax, usually you've got the email from Nummax support already stored in your display. But you could put your email here, and when you have added to the list, you can set alerts. And by default, you could put offline, which is the main thing we want to know about our display, is when it's offline. So when it is disconnected from the internet, you would receive an email. You could set some alerts for all kinds of things: temperature, humidity, electrical alerts, and so on. So that's much more for our tech supports, but you can do that with your display. Impression. So impression, this is a very interesting feature. We've got some customers making money with that. This is some statistics on how many times an image has been displayed in your screen. So an image or a video, whatever. You just have to select the range, the period of time. So let me take from the 21st to the 24th. I set. And then I get some statistics on how many times. So you can see that the image ademo.jpg has been displayed more than 18,000 times. Very important to put some relevant names to your medias. But how do customers make money with that? Actually, when you sell some advertising space in your display, you could charge something to your providers, to your partners. When you send the invoice, you can add, you can download this statistic as an Excel report. So you could add the report, give the report with the invoice. So that's very useful if you want to make money with that. Then you've got the map. Mines are not set, but you can put the coordinate of your displays. If you only have one display that's not moving in your storefront, that's not very useful. But if you've got some displays in different offices or branches, you would want to control all this and see the displays on the map, so you can work with the map. And then the last tab is much more for our tech support. This is all what has been done in the software or in the display. So our tech support would come here if there is an issue with the system. They would check what has been done last. All we've seen here about the display, you can access the same features on the left menu here with monitor, where you can set alerts for your display, the statistics. So you can see how many times content has been displayed, the map, and the log the same way. So that's pretty much all about what you can do with controlling your display. Now we're going to see the account and how to manage accounts. So now we're going to see how to manage your account and even create some other accounts for partners or graphic designer or whatever, whoever needs to come and connect to Nummax Manager to work with your display. So you just have to go on the left menu, you select account, and then you access all the elements about your account. So in this display, you've got you can change your username, you can change the language of the software, the design, the theme, and you can reset your password if you want to change it. You can turn on the two-factor authentication, which will work with your mobile phone. And on the second tab, you can add subsidiary accounts. So this is really for adding some people to your system, to your display. So very easy, sign up, and like any accounts, you put a username, the email, the password, and the critical element is the role you're going to give the person. I'm not going to go through all the roles you've got here, but you must remember the two main roles. You've got the administrator, which is, you have full control of everything in the software and in your display. So when you give this role to someone, it has to be someone in your company, because the person can reset the display completely, remove everything, and so on. But if you've got some partner, like a graphic designer that would create some medias for your display, you would give the playlist editor, for example, invitee, would be the two roles you would give. The person can only do two things, is upload medias in the library and create playlists. And that's the only thing that the person can do. So you will still have, as an administrator, you will have the role to program it in the schedule and to apply it to your display. So that's very important. And the last thing is you can assign to a group also. So like I said previously about groups, is that if you have several branches, if you have, you could have a marketer that work for an agency in Toronto, and someone else would work for another city, and you could have people managing only their branches, only their office, and so on. So that's pretty much the way you could manage people. And the last feature is about the storage. So by default, Nummax would give you by display would give you 1 gig storage. It's not a lot, except if you put some optimized image, you would have enough space. We can give you more than that as a storage, but you can have the storage depending on your address, the location of your display. So if you have different displays in different locations, you would get as much gigs as you would get. You've got locations. So, but this is critical also because when you give storage space to someone, it will be taken from your own storage. So you will not put 10 graphic designer working for your account. We don't recommend you to do that. But if you've got some need in storage, just contact Nummax Tech Support. We'll see what we can do for that. And once you've got set the account, you just have to sign up and the account will be created. So when you have an account created, you can access some actions on the right. So these actions are the way to control the display, I mean the account. So these actions, first of all, you can allow the account, you can block the account, you can impersonate, which means that you would go inside the account as if you were the person. So that could be interesting if you need to give some images to someone. You would go in its account, you will access the library and drop some images and videos so the person can access all these elements. You can change the role also if you want to go from a playlist editor to an administrator. You could change the role, reset the password, or even delete an account if you don't require this account anymore. So that's all about creating new accounts. Now you've got the settings of your account. So this area, you don't really need to go in here. There's no need of all this actually in Nummax Manager. These are very specific settings that we are going to talk about in some other videos. But the only element you might want to change is the default picture duration. So you've seen in the beginning of this video, I've created a playlist with a slideshow, and the slides already had 10 seconds. This was the default duration. You can change it here, the default duration. So I could put it, 6 seconds. So I don't have to change it each time I create a slideshow. And that's pretty much about it. All the other tabs, you don't really need to go in here. It's very specific use. Just in case you're looking for a specific feature in Nummax Manager, just contact Nummax, and we'll see if it's all about this or if it's an external feature you would need. So that's pretty much all about Nummax Manager. So I hope you did get everything about the software, and you might be ready to work with the software. If you have any question, anything you want to know about your poster, your display, or the software, you can contact Nummax Manager at 1-877-255-3471, extension 205. This is the tech support of Nummax. All I've said in the video is all accessible in the documentation. So if you want the documentation, you can go on nummax.com/academy or /download. Also, we got 2 resources in the website where you can access some additional videos, and you can access the complete documentation on paper where you've got all we've seen here in the video, all written with screen capture. So don't stress, you've got everything you need. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the training and have fun with your Nummax display. Bye.